Business Focus. Stay with us. Now, global food shortage is high on the agenda. The ongoing ministerial conference of the World Trade Organization, WTO, will tell you what the WTO intends to do to contribute to the global efforts to avoid a food crisis. Now, let's drill down the situation to Ghana and find out if there is any end in sight to the increasing prices of foodstuff on the market, which is affecting all of us and contributing to the increasing rate of inflation. Stay with us this evening here on Business Focus. We'll get into your kitchen as we have a conversation about the realities that we are faced with in our homes. Beyond the statistics and the figures, we make sense of the daily economics on Business Focus on TV3. I am Alfred Okansi. Let's connect now to some of the stories that made headlines over the last 7 days.
Total value of investment made by a multilateral institution, the Africa Development Bank, AFDB, in Ghana, has reached $4.1 billion. According to the multilateral institution, the $4.1 billion investment translates into some 127 projects approved by the bank. The project, the AFDB further notes, have concentrated mainly on the agriculture and transport sectors, which together accounts for more than 50% of the bank's investment in the country.
You'll find some more stories on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly after this quick break. We'll get into the conversation and our various areas of focus tonight on Business Focus. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to Business Focus on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, all across the world on 3news.com. This is what the Ghana Statistical Service told us with respect to inflation in the month of May 2022. It went up from 23.6 in April to 27.6. Take a look at this. Now, I'm going to show you a graphical expression or representation of what the Ghana Statistical Service said. Transport fares, food prices pushed the rate of inflation up to 27.6. Now, these are the drivers, the various factors that pushed up inflation from 23.6 to 27.6 in May. Transport, 39%. Transportation witnessed a 39% increase. Household equipment and maintenance witnessed 33.8% increase. Housing, water, gas, electricity, 32.8%. Food and alcoholic beverages, 30.16%. And then also, that is what we saw with the major drivers of inflation. That's according to the Ghana Sales Service. Now, take a look at this. The price of bread recorded the highest rate of inflation of 41.3%. That's year on year in the inflation basket. This was released by the Ghana Statistical Service. Of the hundreds of items that they have captured in the inflation basket, price witnessed some 41.3%. That's the bread inflation, essentially defined as the continuous rise in the prices of goods and services on the market. Now, look at these items that the Ghana Statistical Service identified. Transportation. And remember, transport fares went up by 15% in February and then by 20% in May. So we're not seeing any reduction in that respect. Now we are picking information that the GPRTU may increase transport fares in the coming days. But let me take you through how the inflation has risen over the period from January to date, the rise in the inflation rate. Now, in January, it was 13.9%. 13.9%. In February, it increased to 15.7%. 15.7% in February. Then it increased to 19.4%. And then in April, it increased to 23.6%. And then in May, it increased to 27.6% in May. That has been the increase over the period. That's what you're seeing there. We started the year with an inflation rate of 13.9%. Obviously, the argument has been that the Russia-Ukraine war has influenced a number of things that we are seeing now. We saw an increase in February. That was a period or that month that that incident happened with Russia attacking Ukraine. Since then, we've seen an increase over the period to date. Now, can this situation be blamed on just the Russia-Ukraine war, or we have some locally engineered factors that is also contributing to the increasing rate of inflation? And remember, there are two factors that has pushed inflation up from January 13.9 to May 27.6. That's almost a double. In fact, almost a double the rate of inflation over the last 5 months. 13.9, now we're talking about 27.6 in the month of May. And it was largely due to transportation costs and also the increasing prices of foodstuff on the market, which has doubled the rate of inflation. And now you are feeling it in your pocket, you are feeling it in your personal economy, you are feeling it in fact, in your kitchen. Because when you go to the market these days, you're unable to buy as much food items as you would expect or you would have been able to some 6 months ago. Also, you are paying more for transportation. The market women are also paying more for transportation, which they are passing on the cost to you and I on the price of foodstuff that we're buying on the market. Alhaji Abbas Imoro is the Director of Industrial Relations of the GPRTU. He joins us in the studio. Alhaji, good evening to you. Thank you for your time this evening.
Good evening, you can see.
Great. Now, we understand that you are mulling the idea of increasing transport fares. Is this true?
No, for now, we are sensitizing the general public on the situation.
You are sensitizing
yes.
Ahead of?
Yes, I would say ahead of an impending, but we've never mentioned we are going to increase lorry fares today or tomorrow.
But we should expect an increase in transport fares?
Because normally, each time we come up with any upward, passengers doesn't take it lightly, as if it is our personal problem that we've imposed on them. Hence, we decided this time around to sensitize them on the current situation, the rate at which the fuel prices are going up, and the possibility of burden sharing ahead. So this is what we are doing. Secondly, we also have a problem we want to share with the public as well. We have realized in the LI 2180, there is a portion, a regulation 121 subsection 2, which states that anybody want to drive a commercial vehicle must belong to a transport organization. And we've realized each time we come up with upward adjustments in lorry fares, those that we call floating drivers, those that does not belong to any organization at all, when we say short distance must record 20%, you realize these are the very people who takes more than what we all agreed upon. So we are having that also as a problem. We want to meet and discuss that also among our other problems that we have.
But the focus now is transport fares, and yes, you're saying that the transport fares, we should expect an increase in transport fares in the coming days because of the increasing prices of petrol, that's petroleum products, diesel and petrol.
Actually, we don't come up with upward adjustment mainly on fuel, but fuel plays a very big role in upward adjustment in lorry fares. And the rate at which it's climbing up, we want to sensitize the public on it. Well, initially we are all aware, excuse me, we'll be enjoying a yearly increment or even more than 1 year. Some ages back, those are the days that we also experience once in a year in, increases in...
Because already you've increased transport fares by 35% cumulatively between February and now. February you increased it by 15%, and then in May you increased it by 20%.
Now come up with the fuel increment between this period.
Okay, so to be fair, take a look at this. This is a computation of the fuel cost. The cost of fuel, how much it costs the transport, that's public transport driver to buy, the cost of fuel to buy a gallon of petrol or diesel. In fact, a number of your cars run on diesel, right?
Yes.
So take a look at this. This is the computation. 4.5 liters make up 1 gallon.
1 gallon, yeah.
Okay, so in January, the transport operator, the public transport operator whose vehicle runs on diesel, was spending just a little above 30 cedis for a gallon.
Yeah.
Because at the time, diesel was selling at 6 cedis, 85 pesos.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 5 months on, maybe 6 months, yes. June, 1 gallon in the first pricing window of diesel is selling at 12 cedis, 40 pesos. That's about almost double the price. So if you multiply 4.5 liters by 12 cedis, 40 pesos, you are getting about almost 56 Ghana cedis. So in January,
now,
you were buying...
Hold on over there.
You were buying, yes, in diesel, January diesel was 30 cedis,
yes.
And then now you are buying it for 56 cedis.
Within this short period, let's make small illustration on this.
Right.
A driver, after, you know, drivers, we are not being paid well. If you have buy a vehicle for me and I make a sale of 100 Ghana to you a day,
right,
averagely, mentally, you give me 200. It's only few car owners who pays more than that. But averagely, you give me 200. Now, because I make something out of the daily sales, I normally work happily. From the illustration, oh, you've taken it off. Yes, see, the difference. Look at the difference. You were buying a gallon at 30.8. Now, within this short period, it's now 55.8. Meaning, if a driver gets home, takes 20 cedis home, at the hardest work, today he's not going to get 20 cedis again. Look at it. Because at the end of the day, you have to refill the fuel. If you use 5 gallons, you have to buy 5 gallons. If you buy 10 gallons, you have to buy 10 gallons again. So if a driver gets 20 cedis at the end of the day, meaning today he's not going to get that 20 cedis again. At the end of the hard day's work, you work and refuel the number of quantity you use and go home empty-handed. This is where the driver cries foul.
Okay. So, well, so that's just what we put on the screen there for our viewers to understand what's happening.
Yeah.
A number of our viewers who own their own vehicles also buy petrol.
And they make sense
so now
as
petrol,
well.
now, for instance, some of you
Yes.
as well, you have the public transport operators also who have their vehicles running on petrol
Yes.
and diesel. Petrol now, in January, a gallon of petrol was costing just about 30 cedis, 60 pesos. Now it costs about almost 46 Ghana cedis as well. So we've seen that 20 cedis, almost 20 cedis jump in both cases.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're saying is that because of this margin of increase over the period,
Yes.
you are justified in increasing transport fares by 35% already, and you're already thinking about adding another increase in the coming days.
You can say the justification of the current upward adjustment that we are enjoying comes with a lot of sacrificial. We have really sacrificed a lot. We are in the country. We've seen what is happening, but to be in the interest of fairness, let's imagine we are of the same age. We grew up from the same area. You choose journalism. I choose professional driving. Are we saying today I don't have right to take extra care of my children? Say send them to the university if the child is brilliant. The answer is no. If the answer is no, you agree with me, then you must support us to make sure we alleviate the current situation in which we are.
So what intervention would persuade you from not increasing transport fares in the coming days? What do you expect of government?
You see, once upon a time, you were with us when we started, we started making noise on certain taxes, levies, that we came out that they have even outstayed their usefulness, of which they are existing now. That did not materialize. We were still working, and we must survived. The only thing we can do now is to introduce the burden sharing that was introduced, and we are all enjoying it.
So we're going to share the burden that the drivers are carrying with the commuting public?
Yes, of course, Mr.
People
Okansi.
who patronize public transport.
You go to buy food tomorrow, the size of the food has changed. You go to buy singlet, the price has changed. You even go to the market to buy handkerchief, the price has changed. How do we survive? Drivers, if we don't adjust ourselves, if we don't come out like we are doing today, sensitizing the public, that the rate at which the fuel price is running, if nothing is being done, nobody should blame us. Should we come up ahead of time that, yes, we feel where we are today, we are not safe, something must be done, or we are doing something, so that they will also share the same sentiments with us, that yes, they are on the right path.
So are you going to sit with the transport ministry, as you used to do until recently when you decided to increase the transport fares by yourself, because you said the transport ministry is sabotaging your efforts at improving the welfare of the driver in this country?
You say it, we never said that.
That's why you went ahead to increase transport fares without consultation with the transport ministry. You said you disregarded
that was in the
Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council also said your increase of 20% was illegal, but you went ahead and did it.
Do they exist?
They don't exist. GRTCC, they don't exist.
Oh, but do they exist?
But you've been meeting with them.
Mr. Okansi, the fact of the case is we should all try to be coming up with the truth. Because apart from the truth, there is nothing which can help you out. We never said that. But situation, if you hold my neck very tight to the extent I will struggle my way out, and if I have my way, I will shout for people to come to my aid. That was what we did. That was exactly what we did. We were suffocating.
Who was suffocating?
We, the professional drivers, were suffocating.
By what? Who was
by the situation by then.
And the transport ministry was in this. We
never mention anybody's name. We are saying we must survive, and the system has broken down. We were suffocating. We need to survive. So that was, and we are happily working today. Until recently, the 2 upward adjustment, which is sinking us. After that, we were happily working. Everybody was happy with the little upward adjustment that we came up with.
The 20%?
Yes. Which by then, you know, it was above 33% upwards. We were having 10% threshold. And we waited till we realized if we don't do anything, the suffocation will kill us. We can't breathe. There was nothing we could do. We struggled our way out. That was what we did, Mr. Okansi.
Well, there are 3 elements that decide or influence the pricing of petroleum products at the pumps in this country. Number 1 is the currency differentials. That's the performance of the cedi against the major trading currency, because we have to convert cedi into dollars to go and buy finished products, petrol, diesel, come and sell in this country. The second is the prices of crude oil on the world market. Now it's about $130 thereabout. The third is the margins and levies, the taxes that government has imposed on a liter of petrol or diesel that you buy. So I'm going to show you the taxes and levies you are paying on 1 liter of petrol or diesel. The petrol that is selling at 10 cedis, 40 pesos on the average per liter. And then the diesel that's selling at 12 cedis, 40 pesos thereabout per liter. These are the taxes and levies you are paying. Take a look at this. I'll list them all, and then you follow accordingly the various taxes and levies, the margins and levies that you're paying. First is the energy debt recovery levy. It's 49 pesos. What you see on the screen is the price build-up that is released by the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. So you can find it on the website. If you buy a liter of petrol or diesel, you are paying energy debt recovery levy of 49 pesos, road fund levy of 48 pesos, energy fund levy of 1 peso, price stabilization and recovery levy of 14 pesos.
Can you hold on over there? Then we'll continue. You remember this price stabilization and recovery levy?
That's what you wanted the government to take off.
We made noise. It was taken off for a period.
In November, December, January.
It was brought back again.
And it was reintroduced in February.
Yes.
Sanitation and pollution levy, 10 pesos. That was introduced during COVID.
And you remember we also spoke against
said that should also be removed.
Yes.
Well, government needs money. They weren't listening to you. Energy sector recovery levy, 20 pesos. It's not done. Let's go to the next one.
Okay.
There are more taxes on the price buildup. The next, you would also see the second list of taxes. Special petroleum tax, 46 pesos. Primary distribution margin, 8 pesos. Bust margin, 7 pesos. Fuel market margin, 4 pesos. Marketers margin, 46.1 pesos. And then that's dealers margin, just a little over 30 pesos. That's what you see there. Now, this is the total of the taxes, now the margins and levies that you pay if you buy 1 liter of diesel or petrol, which costs 10 cedis, 10 pesos, and then 12 cedis, 40 pesos on the average. All of this. Now, you're seeing the pesos, and you might think, okay, well, it's just a peso. But let's look at the cumulative effect.
On a liter.
We added all these pesos of all these margins we've seen. And take a look at this. The total number of, that's it. The total taxes and levies on 1 liter of petrol or diesel. All the taxes are mentioned in the pesos. It adds to 4 cedis, 64 pesos. The current price of a liter of fuel, let's say petrol, 10 cedis, 10 pesos. If you subtract the total taxes of 4 cedis, 64 pesos, we should probably have been buying a liter of petrol for 5 cedis, 46 pesos, if there are no taxes on it. Yes. But obviously, that is an unrealistic expectation. So what you are saying is that you want government to take a look at some of the taxes I have just mentioned, or the margins and levies, reduce or remove them to be able to at least reduce the cost of fuel. That's what you're asking.
Yes, but we've gone beyond this because Workers' Day, 1st May, we were all at Independence Square when our president announced that it can't be possible because if they do, we are going to run in debt. So we have even forgot about talking about these taxes and levies again. Because we made a lot of illustrations, appeal, we plead that even some should, we came up with about 5. That should be strike out. We won't come around that time, we won't increase lorry fares. So that we also maintain everything the way it was. Lo and behold, we were told it won't be possible. So for now, I don't even talk about taxes and levies again, since our president have come out to tell us that it won't be possible.
So all you are telling the Ghanaian people is that we
are now practicing.
You are doing burden sharing.
Burden sharing. So when the burden is put on us, we also share the burden with the general public.
So we should
because we are into serious commercial business.
Okay, so
driving the whole day.
So you are saying we should brace ourselves for an increase in transport fares. Simple. That's what you're saying. We should just get ready for it. That's
since we are moving forward, since fuel prices are swelling up, unless unexpected happens, then of course, which is maybe the current fuel price, we wake up tomorrow and it has been slashed to about 8.8 cedis a liter or 9 cedis a liter.
But how do you expect that to be done?
Well, then you should listen to us. If that is not possible, then we are saying that we have to sensitize ourselves against the near future. What is happening?
Alhaji Abbas Imoro is the Director of Industrial Relations of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU. The message is that we should just brace ourselves for an increase in transport fares in the coming days.
No.
All things being equal.
We haven't mentioned this.
So when are we to expect?
Well, as soon as it's applicable.
Which is when?
Which is the coming days ahead.
So why are you saying you haven't said it?
Or the coming weeks, or the coming months.
No, so whatever the case, you have just said what you have to say. So we've taken it. Whenever you come out with the announcement, we'll get to know. We'll stay with us. This is Business Focus. We'll be back shortly after this quick break with this information from the GPRTU. And we're monitoring the situation on the world markets as well. We understand the price of crude oil, a barrel now, selling at $130 thereabout, and the situation is not looking good. If things stay this way, all things being equal, prices of petroleum products may see an upward adjustment at the pumps, higher than what we are buying now. That's the situation. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Yawo, Famita Maganaga, Cobnanti, a year. Cobnanti to find a bar. When you walk, I say, therefore, our father, you can't again. Cobnanti to find a bar. Do you to Facome? Never any boy. Therefore, our father, in the mission, wage to find a new buko. Or me turning him a fame of Fiam Buko. Nimbu. It's a again again, I know. Ni ko beto nji ga je ni ga omo ko gbu ele gbogo ni bote mi ngbu o mo fi amo obo mode ni o agbu nyeme ni ya nye ya ila chamo ni benke ni enu ni nya agbu COVID-19 to fane eku keji oye afi ni maganu mo ke ya o ba nyo ogbu ni ke to fane eku ni kenya ke ga bie bo mode no ke face mask e abu ogun da every day anytime Sando nyobu. For the form Kesamna, Yanuniho, Shishi. Call now, one of the sanitizer. As you should. Tell ya no como. Yenega Lane. I get Wagabua, she Baba, or Fairwati. In Yeme, Ke, Ungokume, Yelian no como. Niawa, Wagua, Tofanego. I'm no.
Welcome back to Business Focus on TV3. We're live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook, DSTV channel 279, and all across the world on 3news.com. And still staying with the impact of inflation on you and I. I mean, we are demystifying the whole approach to the understanding of the statistics put out by the Ghana Statistical Service, putting the reality of the situation to it. Beyond the statistics, we live the realities every day, and that includes food inflation. Now, just a quick reminder, these are some of the drivers, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, which pushed inflation up to 27.6%. Now, when we go to the market, we experience it. That's what we're saying now. According to the Statistical Service, you have transport, and then the last there is food and non-alcoholic beverages, 30.16. And continuously, we've seen an increase in the prices of food stuff on the market. That's what the Statistical Service has captured in there. And that is what has led to an increase in the rate of inflation from 13.9 to almost a double, 13.9 in January to 27.6 in May. Now, we've dealt with transportation, but food, the price of food stuff on the market, is it going to see any reduction as yet? Take a look at the regional food inflation as captured by the Ghana Statistical Service. Greater Accra had a 29.2% increase. So what that means is that when you go into the Dom market, the Malamata market, the Madina market, Nima market, Agbogloshi, Makola, this is it. Central region, 35.1% increase in the price of food. Eastern region. Now take a look at the food basket areas. Bono and Ahafo regions and Bono East saw an increase, 29%. It's almost the rate of inflation in Accra. These are areas where food, this is the food basket areas. That's where it's of concern to many people who are watching the statistics put out by the Ghana Health Service. What that means is that even from the food growing areas, food prices are high. So before they are even transported to Accra for us to go to the market and buy, already they are experiencing a high price. Before the market women add the cost of transportation to it, before their profit margin, and then you also go to the market to buy. That's the understanding of what's happening then. This is according to the Ghana Health Service. So we want to find out if the prices of foodstuff on the market is going to see any reduction anytime soon. Anthony Morrison is the Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, one of the leading voices in the agricultural sector in this country. Mr. Morrison, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
I took time to paint this picture because it's the reality of our viewers. That's what we go through on the market. That's what is happening in our kitchen. But is this going to persist, or we're going to see a reduction in the price of foodstuff on the market in the coming months?
Well, thank you very much. Yes, our projection sometime before the war was clear that we were going to see some reduction. This was when the UK gave some support to Yara, which are one of the leading brands in fertilizer and crop protection and seeds, to be able to produce more in London. And also we saw a number of Chinese companies coming back on board after the COVID. But at the inception of the war, it escalated because some of the raw materials also have to come from these areas where we had urea, a lot of urea deposit between Ukraine and Russia. Now, that also notwithstanding, in the case of the agriculture sector, it has been a triple-edged situation. First, lack of domestic financing for agriculture. Mm-hmm. Two, the access to inputs. And also three, the fuel factor. So, I mean, I heard GPRTU PRO spoke. Anytime fuel prices goes up, it affects food prices. There is this ongoing research to look at the Ghana food price build-up, what affects food prices in the country. And fuel is a major factor because for the farmer and the processor, the agro-processor, there is about 3 transportation within that value chain. You procure the inputs from the store or from the agro dealer to your farm. Mm-hmm. Then, after processing or production, you transport it back to the market. So there are 2, and you see, there's another factor, which is transportation. When you are preparing the land, you use fuel.
True.
Okay? When you are even harvesting, you use fuel. And for the processor, so all these costs is transferred to the processor or to the market directly.
So when fuel prices goes up, petrol, diesel,
certainly,
it directly impacts on you.
Yes.
I see. And per the statistics, even at the farm gate, the price of foodstuff is high. Even before we come down south here, what's your reading of that situation? Because you engage with the farmers at these food basket or the food producing regions where we are seeing food inflation also rising.
My concern here is that 4 or 5 key regions, which are major food baskets of the country, Eastern region, Northern region, Western, Ashanti, and Volta. Look at Ashanti region, 30.6. With Ashanti region being one of the key food producing regions in the country. And look at BA. It's mind-blowing. If you add the Bono East, And it's mind-blowing that you are having a combination of well over 50% between these two regions. A BA, old BA, is also a major food basket of this country. So it boils down to how our economic fundamentals are structured. Because if these major regions are facing the challenges of transportation, cost of inputs, and also other variables that, cost of labor is one of them, because while petrol prices, transportation goes up, it affects the transportation of labor as well. So you will see all this is going parallel. There is no meeting point. So we need now to look at the paradigm shift of the economic structure, especially with regards to agriculture financing. GESEL has kind of mitigated the risk to some extent, but a lot has to be done to make sure that we are able to cushion the consumer and most especially the farmer. Because now what is going to happen is that, and I've said it several times, the farmer as of last season didn't know what we were going to face. So the farmer sold at the time of production at the previous price. Now, if the farmer had done 10 acres, this time around, the profit he made out of 10 acres would not be enough to do the same 10 acres. For instance, look at maize. 1 acre of maize last season was almost about 650 to 700. Now, when we're buying MPK at 160 Ghana cedis, now the same MPK is 300 or in some cases
what
360.
Size? What size?
50 kg.
50 kg.
Yes.
360 Ghana cedis.
Yes.
That's almost 300% increase.
As we speak now. And you can see that reflecting in the cost of maize at the retail area. In fact, sometimes, if you look at it, last year we were doing about close to 130 Ghana cedis for 50 kg. 6 months down the line, it was 83 before the COVID. Okay? Now, we are buying at 170, in some cases, if you are lucky, 190. But we do know that the prices we're going to go higher for the next 3 weeks because the old maize is getting out of stock. And people are also aware that very soon there will be new products coming onto the market. But that is not going to be sufficient because most farmers are unlikely to release all their food onto the market. They are going to have storage and release it as and when there is a need for them to have some economic support within the home context.
So you're saying that even though we are getting into, if I get it right, even though we are getting into the harvesting season, we may not see a reduction in the price of foodstuff anytime soon.
Not substantially.
Not substantially.
We may have just a slight reduction. Slight reduction. I'm saying that because...
In the harvesting period.
Exactly.
Which is in the next 2 months.
Yes.
By July, August.
Yeah. You know, we have the bimodal and the unimodal farming or production system in Ghana.
Right.
Where the north does just one season and the south do major and minor seasons. So that will have some effect.
I see. So, finally, look, what are the interventions that are needed? Because in this case now, the Agric Ministry has the direct responsibility to ensure that measures are put in place to be able to deal with this. Have you seen that response mechanism from the ministry to address the situation now as we have it?
Not on the magnitude you would expect, but I want to take this from the doorsteps of the minister and move it to the presidency. This is about national security. Food prices continues to go up. What I would like to advise the president is that set up the National Food Security Commission, where we involve the BOG governor, the Minister for Finance, the Agric Minister, some selected CEOs and MDs of major multinational companies and banks, tax them to raise $1 billion for food security here in Ghana. And that can be done easily. When that is achieved, we use the same committee, incorporate the military, the prisons, incorporate the police, immigration, engineering, and also the research institution. And I'm going to come to research because what's happening there is key. So that we develop a strategic roadmap or an agriculture master plan towards food security of this country. Currently, as you speak, you go to the buffer stock. We do not have enough stock.
Right on. It's an issue that still remains a bigger concern, and I know that this is something that you are looking into quite keenly. Mr. Morrison, I'd want to thank you so much for coming through this evening. But this is Business Focus. I want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Business Focus on TV3. We're back same time next week, but keep the conversation going on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am Alfred Okanse. Good evening.